This happens in nature where tulips, they're not just able to survive through winters, but if they do not have a chilling period, they will not bloom. Each of us, what we're capable of, that bloom happens on the other side of a winter. We back, baby, with another reflection on the daily Vedantic. And today's reflection is on the value of pain, the value of discomfort, especially when we go into it with understanding. That pain that you might have after a really tough gym session, it's going to be there regardless, whether you understand it or not. But if you understand it as being part of the deconstruction and then the reconstruction, a stronger body of stronger muscles, and the more you look at it, you start to like it. It's a signal of progress, signal that you went hard enough. You start to question it. Actually, when you don't feel sore, did you go hard enough? You spent the hour at the gym. You might as well gotten your money's worth and really pushed yourself. It's a strange dynamic where the relationship around pain can switch. It can be the same for cold plunging. It can be the same for delayed gratification. And there is a line in the Gita that in chapter 18, verse 37 that says, "That which is like nectar in the beginning is like poison in the end. That which is like poison in the beginning is like nectar in the end." You start to see this pattern of things that are real sweet, sugary, instantaneously comfortable, pleasant. You start to develop a little bit of elbow room of, okay, is that really good for me? I think I'm going to question if this is good for me just because it tastes so sweet. And vice versa, you start to recognize, oh, that's hard. Ooh, that hurts. Oh, that was humiliating. That's... St. Francis used to pray for humiliation because he knew that it would come with humility. Start to recognize, oh, that's really uncomfortable that I'm going to have that conversation in an hour. Oh, wow, that was feedback that I did not expect, and that hurt my ego. And you start to recognize, oh, that's going to be good on the other side. You start to find all of these seeming poisons and recognize that they are nectar on the other side. And to take it one degree further, it's not just a recognition that, oh, this pain or this discomfort might be completely unrelated to how much comfort or pleasure might be on the other side of going through the pain or discomfort. It's not just that they might be slightly connected or that what is worth doing is on the other side of a whole lot of discomfort. But there's actually a relationship in which we really value, we crave what seems like poison in the beginning. And like I said, you start to question when things don't seem like poison. Chapter 18 also has this concept that calls us to surrender to a duty-bound existence, and immediate peace will follow. Surrender to a duty-bound existence, and immediate peace will follow. In other words, if what we want is peace, and who wouldn't want immediate peace? It's on the other side of the last thing we're told in our culture and society that will give it to us. You never see it in our culture and our society, the message that peace that you want, not only can it be immediate, but it's right on the other side of surrendering to a duty-bound existence. And yet, and again, any given day or week, later today, you can think about a fork in the road where you can choose a duty-bound action or approach, surrendering your selfish desires or preferences, and you surrender completely to a duty-bound existence just for an afternoon. And see what happens on the other side of that. This reorientation with pain or discomfort, it's actually a minimization of suffering. This reorientation with discomfort, as I've said before, the more discomfort one can handle, the more comfort you're always in. And the converse is true. The less discomfort that one can handle, the more discomfort that person is always in. This happens in nature, where tulips, they're not just able to survive through winters, but if they do not have a chilling period, if they do not hit freezing temperatures for an extended period of time, like 4 months, they will not bloom. Each of us, what we're capable of, that bloom happens on the other side of a winter. It happens on the other side of a season that, on paper, our former selves may have done anything to avoid. And yet, the philosophical perspective says, oh, this is going to lead to a bloom that's only possible because of this pain, this discomfort. Pain is not suffering, as the phrase goes. Pain is inevitable, suffering is optional. That pain, that chilling period, with understanding, there's a recognition of, oh yeah, we're going to have one hell of a bloom. It's happening. Over Christmas break a few months ago, I was coming across this camp of thought that says that the Great Depression was the best thing that ever happened to the U.S. That 50 years of progress and economic dominance came from 15 years of the Great Depression. That level set, the U.S. was not an economic dominant world power before the Great Depression. It leveled kind of everybody, all countries, all economic powers around the world. And that chilling period, that winter, allowed the U.S., and this is benefited by not being pulled into the European Continental World War until the very end. But that Great Depression that happened around the world, according to these historians that believe this, is the best thing that ever happened to the U.S. This isn't like an American-centric viewpoint. These are historians from around the world that just said, yeah, America's economic dominance over the subsequent 50 years depended on a really, really hard, long winter. Maybe that's the case for all of us in our lives. A Great Depression or a great winter is taking place or has taken place. And our progress and development would not be what it is without that long winter. And with understanding, you see the integral nature of that winter. You jump into the cold plunge, the gym session, the really hard, trying time in your career, family life. You roll up your sleeves and you run towards whatever tragic scenario might be happening in your community. You go towards it voluntarily, knowing that what you might do, you might have done anything to avoid, might be the very thing that's needed for you and your community to bloom. Certainly thinking about this right now in the midst of our community and all of our friends' homes that have been lost with the Palisades fire, how the city has been completely rearranged by what seems to have been caused by a few fireworks. Rearranging a whole city and countless lives. But maybe in the midst of this winter, or any winter you might be going through, some things are going to bloom that are only possible because of it. That's today's reflection on the Daily Vedantic. We'll see you next time.